Hello everybody and welcome back to a TCG. Today we will be doing an educated banlist prediction based on the way this format looks from the past few events we had, as well as just the overall power level of the format and the way it feels. So the current format is very diverse and it would be really hard to hit a deck harshly without breaking the balance of the format, the balance that the top 4 to 5 decks have. That's why we see so many different decks top. It's usually the same 6, 7 suspects, but it is a different one each time because they are, as I said, rather well balanced between each other. So we'll really try to just make a bound list that doesn't disturb the balance of the format, but at the same time keeps things updated and consistent, and also maybe hit some problems with the current format. As far as we know, the next Banlist will be coming out in December, probably early December. That's around the same time it did last year. So with that in mind, let us take a look at what we believe to be the cards that need to be banned. There are 2 cards we believe should be banned on the next Banlist, and they are Yugioh, the Ancient Sentinel, and Kelpok, the Ancient Vanguard. Those cards are sending 5 cards from the top of the deck to the grave is just really, it's insane. Kelpok is a hand trap as well. They're banned in Master Duel, and they're banned in OCG. So I believe it's only logical the TCG will follow, as it seems to be the recent trend. They are a big hit to 2 elements, but they also destroy that casino, that luck element the deck has, which brings a healthier format on top, because having a deck that just sometimes does everything and sometimes does nothing is not a very healthy part to be on. It's not a very healthy part of the format. Yes. Okay. For the limited cards, some of them coming back and some of them being hits to decks are Magic Spectre, Unique, and Kirin. There's some Magic Spectre support coming soon. Kirin is obviously a really good card and it can be splashed in pretty much every Pendulum deck, but it feels like if Konami really wants the new Magic Spectres to be competitive or good in any way, I believe Kirin will play a major role in that and it will be needed. Next up we have Tidal, Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls. It is the worst Dragon Ruler remaining on the ban list. Redux is probably too good at the moment, but Tidal can probably come back as a boost to water decks as well, who received support last year, but it's not really enough for every deck to have meta relevance. For a third card on this limited section, we have Prank Kids Meow coming back from the Forbidden slot. I believe that Prank Kids would not be that powerful coming back. It would just be the same linear line, but in a hand trap format, it feels like they would not be strong enough to be a meta contender. Would definitely be a good deck, but maybe tops are regionals, some RTS championships here and there. I don't think we would see that a top cut of a YCS though. And for the fourth one, we have yet another hit to Tier Elements. It is Tier Elements Tira. I guess we are following the trend, of limiting every Tier Elements name besides Rhino Heart, I guess. Even though this one is not a dark and it doesn't fuse, it still mills 5 and over the course of a turn, and that's just a really good card to have. Limiting it would severely limit the power of a Tier Element, which is, as I said, a bit of an unhealthy part of a format when it's all just luck based. Now for the semi-limits, which is a section that we get to have most fun with, honestly. It's the most unpredictable one because it's always so empty, and every time a new card's hit, it's just different. Usually something that comes back to 3 and we forgot it's even limited, stuff like that. So let's see. First we have a hit. That's something that was actually at 3 and now it's going back down to 2. Kashtira Fenrir. I do believe that Fenrir is too good and too splashable of a card. Semi-limiting or maybe even limiting it would be a way to keep it in its own deck, even if that deck is not the greatest right now. Another semi-limit would be Pearl Delicious Memory. This would be to boost up Pearl a little bit, making it a lot stronger going second, because it has some issues lately, and it has, even though it has been performing, has had many tops. It's the only hit the deck has, and it is the only top deck that currently is hit. So it would, obviously besides Tier Element, so it would be fair to give it a Delicious Memory back to 2, and then maybe if it's still not the best deck, maybe put it back to 3, or maybe hit it even more depending on how the format evolves for the the ban list after the next one. Next up, we have two cards coming back from the limited spots. We have Danos Pankratops, who is currently at 1. Would love to see it to 2 because it is the quarantine zone before it goes to 3. And I believe that Pankratops right now has kind of been power crept, if I'm being honest, even though it is an extremely strong card and it's probably going to be staple in side decks. It's not. It's sometimes it feels like a Worse Fenner, and having a Worse Fenner and it's only good if you're going second. It's not the worst. It's not the worst place to be. And trying to have it to 2 and then maybe it comes back to 3 again. We can see it as a 3-up inside decks and some blind second build. Pankratops is a very, very healthy card as it can out floodgates, as it can help going second, and we love going second, like promoting that kind of mechanic more. The ability to go second is really important in the game, as it has an inherent balance to it. So you just go away from a die roll dependent format. And the last one of the semi-limits is Change of Heart, another almost specifically going second card. It's really good, but it is in theory an amazing card. It is 1/3 of attack talents, even though it does target, but it is not as good as talents. It is not as versatile, and it is not good going first unless specifically you're playing the Ken and Gen combo, which those are decks I believe we should promote as they're fun. It's really fun to go Gen, give your opponent Ken, and then get Ken and give them Gen. Yeah, it should. No one seems to play Change of Heart that much anymore, so moving it to 2 and then eventually to 3 seems like the best option for it. And now the unlimits, the best part of the ban list. You get to see what comes back. You get to search your bulk boxes to find random third copies of 2 of you've been playing your deck for years because you forgot it's even a 2. We have Lightning Storm at first. Yeah, I have no idea why Lightning Storm went to 2. I don't know what the climate was at the time at the Konami headquarters when it decided this, but I do not think that card should be a 2. As it is, the only reason I would assume for the card to be a 2 is when you really need to play 2 Storms, 1 Duster in your side deck, as everyone does. So there's no reason for it to stay at 2. I don't believe it should ever gone to 2 in the first place. So there we go. Next one is Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires has gone to 2, I think a few years ago. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, maybe even. And I really don't understand why. Pot of Desires is not the best pot. It's, I think, the 3rd best pot right now. In some decks, maybe even the 4th when you have Pot of Duality. In some decks like Thunder or, I don't know, Dynamorphia, maybe. So bringing it back would not change much in terms of deck building or the meta. It's just hammering down that playing 2 Pot of Desires is the optimal ratio. And for the last card on this ban list, we have Reasoning. Reasoning should come back to 3 for Reinforce FTK. No, I'm kidding. It should come back to 3 for the future Infernoid support. It would really help it the deck out with the support. Putting your Infernoids in the grave, then summoning a Decatron and sending in a Nuku and having a monster negate or Deviati for a spell negate is just so good. So yeah, Reasoning would be great in Infernoid and the support coming up, and I do believe it needs it to be successful and even have a chance at the meta relevance. So that's it for today, everyone. This is our Banlist prediction video. Let us know in the comments, what is it you agree with? What do you disagree with? What would you bring back? What would you change? Do you like the current format? Do you think it should stay as it is? Do you think two elements should get hit that harsh, or should it get hit even harsher, like limit Pearl Rhino, the ban Merly, like it is in the Master Duel? Yeah. So let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.